So, very good afternoon. This is Terra-Fly 361, alias Finn Kaisen, for the Terra-Fly aviation virtual airline, and I let you welcome here on my stream today, this evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. Our flight today will be there from Jerez. So, very good afternoon. This is Terra-Fly 361. Yes, this day, sorry I'm back, thank you very much, Val. Yes, this day is very special here. I shift and forwarded my stream 2 times here due to some technical issues with some additional plugins I tried to install here to get a better performance and some better graphics here, but this won't work perfectly, so finally I decided to uninstall that plugin, and we will now continue with our flight here from Jerez up to Tenerife. So that is what we want to do now. We are ready for the departure at the moment. Our plane is still configured here, and we will start now our flight. So everything is set up here at the moment. That means we can now disconnect our external things. We are still connected to Ivao, and yeah, the controller just left, so yeah, we can continue. That is the plan. Let's talk about the departure and everything else when we close the doors, retract the air stairs, and the entry door also. So, good. So, we are ready. Let's drive away. By the way, wonderful airport here in the south coast of Spain. Let's talk about our flight today. We will have a 2 hours flight. 2 hours and 9 minutes. And our route will go, let's check here in this map here. We will drive here from Jerez to Frontera, south of the coast. And then they're up to Tenerife. That is where we want to land. We will do a full raw data departure and arrival this day. So that is my plan, to fly at the SID and the STAR complete without any FMC navigation. And yeah, let's talk about some special charts here. What I want to talk, not everyone look at this detailed shots here in Navigraph, but sometimes it's very important to know, so I will study all the documents before I fly. For example here, a noise abatement procedure on this airport. That means we have to stay right there. We cannot do a crosswheels flat, yeah, that's forbidden at the apron, and anything higher than idle thrust is also not authorized, so keep that in mind. The next thing is here on the general charts. We are actually at state Alpha 6 at the moment, which belongs here to 6, and there's pushback required. We can do a manual push out here without any push trucks, but there's a plane, so we can't do this. Yeah, we will use this, the pushback. So, and then the taxiways are Echo 1 and we are taxiway Tango 6. So, go to the charts here. Another important information are there are birds. Yeah, that is important to know. So, beware to do restricted takeoff. So the next thing is here for the startup and push-up procedure. So we can start this early as 50 minutes before departure, and yeah, that's one other thing here. Taxi procedures. That is what we do with an autonomous exit from Alpha 6. Yeah. As written here, if there's no plane we can do this, and then we have to turn with minimum power possible during startup, and that is important that there's no one damaged outside here. Yeah. Good. So we are here at Alpha 6 at the moment, and then we will continue taxiing there on Lima 3 and Tango 3 up to our Tango 1 up to our runway, yeah, which is runway 20. That means we will go here Lima 2 Echo 1 and then the departure from runway 20. And we fly today the Viva to Victor departure. Yeah. That means we will continue on the track. As hidden. Climb on the runway heading distance 5 distance 15 nautical miles of the Jerez we are, then turn left, intercept the Yankee Foxtrot radial 341 inbound. Yeah, that is this distance here, and that is what we want to do now with our route order departure. So I set up this in the plane, the 203 radial. From the Jerez we are outbound, yeah, and then the inbound course here from 161 to G where we are. Yeah, that is the plan. So, initial climb, there's nothing written at this moment, and there's no ATC controller online, so we can we have to be there above flight level 100, and we will set this initial altitude now to 350. So. Good. Meanwhile, I will take a look at the chat just a moment here. That I can answer your questions if you have some. So. Good. Perfect. I'm connected. We continue now. I set the performance already, so we will do flaps 5 tier 1 departure. Trim is also set with 5 units, and the V speeds are 144, 145, 151, which is already set here, and departure part 202, 203 also. So this is fine. So we can switch on the flight directors and do the last performance checks here, switches to RTO. And we are ready. Let's check the latest meter. Yes, there's no changements, we have no winds, visibility 8,000 meters, and no significant changes there. Arrive at QNH 1020, 1025, which is set here on active and on the standby altimeter. Yeah, perfect. So, what we're doing now is the latest check there from the checklist. So, we are here and this is already done. Yeah. We are now here at the below left. We still start below the line checklist. That means air conditioning packs on to off, anti-collision lights to on, and parking brake set stand transponders alt off. Yeah, we will set now our transponder code. My personal one is 0361 due to the fact there's no ATC controller available at the moment. Good. All right. Before start checklist below the line is completed, and we continue with our pushback. Let's plan this. By the pushback, we plan connect the pushback truck first.
Ground to cockpit. Tau is driving up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard United Airlines. Thank you for flying with us today. As you're finding your seats, remember to stow your carry-on.
So let's wait on the truck.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I want to connect the pushback truck first. There it is. Okay.
You may use your spotlight while we're parked at the gate.
Start the APU.
Such as laptops and DVD players may be used.
Ooh, hopefully this will be in time.
At that time, they must be stowed either under the seat in front of you or an overhead compartment.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Access United.com free of charge. Check flight status and monitor connecting flight information.
So just wait a minute.
Our economy plus seats are feature more space.
I release the parking brake so he won't connect.
Members or for customers who have purchased these seats in advance. If you'd like to purchase economy plus seating on.
Oh, he's still connecting.
If you're seated in an exit seat, please review the exit row responsibilities.
That the parking brake. So, hopefully the generator engine from the APU is available. Yeah, there he is. Perfect. Just in time. So, we will disconnect the GPU. Okay, and now we can do our pushback planning.
Ground to copy. Please show me where you want to go.
So we will go here, facing east.
Now connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
Yeah, that is what we do. So we release the parking brake now.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. So we will take a look here, reaching 25% and 1. Which is reached, so we will switch on the second lever to idle and watch the values. EGT is rising, perfect. So, it's like stable, 20%, 50, 60, that's right. So, we'll start up engine number 1.
Release. We suggest you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, even when the seatbelt sign is off. If you're seated in an exit row, you may be required to assist the crew in an emergency. If you cannot perform the functions described on the safety card, please ask a flight attendant to be reseated. This 737 is equipped with 4 exit doors, 2 on each side of the aircraft. When opened, slides will automatically inflate. There are also 2 window exits over the wings, which can be opened by removing the cover and pulling down on the marked handle. During a water landing, do not use the exits in the rear of the aircraft unless advised by a crew member. Slides detach from the aircraft and serve as extra flotation devices. You'll also find 3 rafts in the marked compartments.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
That is what we do. Set the parking brake and
Connecting to standby.
switch off the dome lights. So we can do now the pre-cruise, the pre-checks here. The next thing is we will put down the generators to on, APUSF, start shields to continuous, and probe heats to on. Anti-ice not required. All the values are on 0. Trim value is still fine. Set this to auto. And auto disconnect, thank you. APU is off. And we can now continue and wait for the bypass pin. Meanwhile, we take a look there at the before taxi checklist generators.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Yes, thank you. Generators are on, APU is off, start switches off continuous, and is not required, air conditioning packs bleeds on, and left packs and right packs are on auto. So, evaluation wave is auto, flaps 5 required. This now we will do next when we see the bypass pin here. We wait until we see the bypass pin. So, there is. That means we can now set flap 5 and do the yoke checks. So, full forward, full back, full left center, full right center, left rudder center, right rudder center, and recall checked. And that is also written here. That means before taxi checklist is completed and we are ready to go, switch off the dome light. And actually no ATC controller there. And we're ready. Oh, let's go. Runway and taxi lights to on, and this checklist here is not needed anymore since we are on the gate at the arrival. So that is now the next thing we'll do. We will use the yoke checklist here. Yeah. Okay. Light is set. We can ready. Taxi. Parking brake released. Show takeoff config test. Guys, I said to you, the last 2 days were absolutely horrible. I tried to stream 2 times, and every 2 hours before my Explain crashed every time due to that plugin. So And all the configs too, so I have to find the solution and yeah. I thought I have to shift this tomorrow, but finally it was done. Yeah. So we continue taxiing now. As said, here we are Lima 2. And then Tango 1 to Echo 1, and then we will do our raw data departure without using the FSE. This is also very nice here. A little bit more complicated than last time. I will say you the arrival is much more complicated, yeah, but also doable, yeah. So this is a great flight if you try this for yourself. So good. Let's talk about our departure. This can be close. Let's seat the cabin crew. And the next thing here is we will do our departure from runway 20, climbing straight ahead to flight level 350, which we need here to be above at Jever, we are above flight level 100. And we still climb there on runway heading 203, which is already set there as outbound course. And then at distance 15 we will turn left there, intercepting radial 341 to inbound Jever viewer. So that is what we want to do. Good. Let that parking brake, which is set, and we do the before takeoff checks now. So switch on the dome lights. Oh, we do not need this. So, before takeoff checklist, flaps 5 green lights, stabilizer trim is 5 units required and set. Yes, perfect. You see the trim here and 5 units there. And then we can switch on the auto throttle. And we will still climb there. Do not use our FMC only by ourselves. So, okay, let's go. On, and we put this turret on. And weather radar on, and let's go. Clear left. And clear right. Perfect. Oh, we switch the VOR needles. Also they're on the second needle. That's what we need. So, switch on the EGT timer and thrust to 40% and 1. And then we will push Toga. So, thrust climbing. With JT takeoff thrust 192.1%, indications normal.
80 knots. V1, rotate.
Rotate. Follow flight trajectories 2.5 degrees.
Positive rate.
G up. Good.
400.
So, we will monitor now and follow this flight needle. So 1000 we will switch on the autopilot. And then we will set there a climb rate of 1500. Heading mode we are, and retract the flaps, flaps 2. Flaps 1, and we will set up the flap speed here. So wind is coming from the right side. You will see we have to switch on the headings here a little bit. Then we will stay there on the needle. So, flaps up speed. So, let's do the after config checks here. We'll fly warlock mode now. So, that means engine bleeds and the generators are to auto, and APU is off, and the switches are manual. Auto, close, APU bleed is off. And the indication is rising, so we can release the cabin crew now. So we will change now to level change. So distance 15, that is one where we turn on to the track needle. That is coming now, so we switch on autopilot command B. And it will now follow the radial 341 inbound. So, set the standard mode. We switch this now to off, and this to also off. Good. But now, we're on the way to Viva and following the track here onto the right side. So we will switch this needle, and then we will change this also on 6-1. Then we can follow this. We can now switch on to command A and adjust the track. After takeoff's flap checklist, engine blades are on. Yes, they are. And the packs are on auto, landing gear is up and off, and the flaps up, no lights. So after takeoff checklist is completed. Good. So now we are on the radial, and we can do the pre-cruise check now. Flight label 100, so landing lights off, runway turn off lights off, taxi lights off, and the logo lights also. Good. Then we can now switch on the fuel center tanks, because we have less than 1 ton, and we can now use it. During the takeoff and landing, or especially during the takeoff, we do not use this with such low fuel, because there's a risk that we get an air disunity and a fuel mixture which is highly explosive, so don't use it during start. And now switches are on auto, and the switches here, air conditioning pressure system is on auto, and the packs are auto, bleeds on, APU bleed is off, and the differential pressure is 4.3 units and climbing 500 feet per minute, so we can now release the crew and the packs also. We'll set there the cabin lighting to cruise, and bright, medium, that is enough, and then we will follow our track here. So let's switch back to our routings. We can now select Elnaf VNAV. And let's take a look at the arrival chart here. This will be the raw data arrival star. We will fly there from Terto, yeah. We will use the Terto 7 Golf inbound Lanzarote VOR, and then we continue outbound, and then we will cross here and fly inbound the Gran Canaria VOR, and then outbound, and then again inbound to Tenerife South VOR. So that is very, very nice to fly here. So we have one inbound, one outbound, one inbound, one outbound, another one inbound, and then we will go into the holdings, and yeah, finally we will arrive there on the runway. Good. Switch to map mode. Time to look here at the chat. Hello David, also Mahlzeit. Thank you very much for your last support here during the last stream, so thank you very much again. So, continue set the heading mode. And we can close the chart now. And we are here now at the coast of Spain. And we will fly there over the sea. Over the Gulf of Cadiz. And near the coast of Morocco. And following to Gran Canaria and Tenerife, which is our arrival here. So, about 2 hours flight. Well, there's much to say we have, or we can clarify during this stream. So we'll set this to standard. Reserve fuel warning is something I noticed in the last few Zibo pages. I think there's a bug there. I've seen there someone also reported this. I think it will be fixed within the next patch there from Zibo, which is quite not wrong, not correct. So we will have enough fuel at the arrival, which is, our reserves are 2.4 tons and we are still above, so that is fine. Good. At first I thought about flying the complete route there from VOR to VOR, but as I noticed there on the Airbus, I can't fly this only there from south to the north. with that routings, so that wasn't possible to do here, to fly to Tenerife from VOR to VOR at the moment. But maybe on the next flight. Let's take a look where we will go with our next flight. We will go to our Terra-Fly homepage, and when you will see there our tour page at our Terra-Fly FTP tour, which is about 100 legs all over Europe. Let's take a look where we are at the moment. So we are at leg 76 of 100, flying from Jerez de la Frontera to Tenerife, especially Sofia in Tenerife, so we have 2 islands there, and the next flight there will be a long flight. Yeah, well, the next 2 flights are 2 long flights. I think I won't stream that because this will go to the Caribbean. Yeah, St. Martin, and then back to Los Rodeos in Tenerife. So the next 2 flights are about 2,700 nautical miles and will be quite a long flight, so I think I won't stream that. If you say okay, we will have to do, I will stream that. But this will be a long flight and a long stream then. So center fuel tanks are now off and empty. That's no problem if you get a warning, because in the NG plane these are electrical pumps and they stop turning when they are empty. Yeah. In the older versions you have to switch off this before, because if not they get dry and hot, and then you will have definitely a risk of explosion. Yeah. If the hot pumps are running and the fuel, a mixture, may expect what will happen. So let's check our altitude. We are on flight level 250, climbing flight level 350. Another thing you may notice is now we are flying south here, especially southwest, and if you are a trained pilot, you may notice that we are doing a wrong cruise level here, but which is quite correct. I will show you now why. Let's take a look here at my yeah, there it is. I've updated my chart here, and you will see the description downloads, and I updated this chart, and but this is not the correct one. Let's check this where it is. I will do and exchange that chart. Just a moment. That is wrong. Explain where it is. The new wind calculation chart. No, this is a wrong and old one. Where is it? I will update this here. I just do a PDF again. That's no problem. So PDF, export, perfect. So, yeah, this is when you back up your complete PC. So there's NG, and where's our table here? There it is. In calculation. And then I will copy. Explain 11. Sources plugins. Avitab. Where is it? Avitab charts. There we are. So copy paste. And then we will have an updated chart hopefully. So get there, charts, wind calculation. Yes, perfect. So now we have an updated chart here, and we are now on flight level 300, so the banks to 10. So these are the updated charts here for my wind calculations, and I also added some infos about the circular IFR flight levels. Because I saw that during this flight, and I thought this will be nice to know for everyone who will fly it. Yes, normally in the world, you know, when you're flying your track from the arrival till to the departure, you will follow the semicircular IFR flight level rules, which means if you are from the arrival to the departure, you will fly a line, yeah, and if you are on this line between the track from heading 360 to 179, you will fly it on odd flight levels. That means 350, 350, 370, and so on. Yeah, and if you're flying Western, yeah, that means from track heading 180 to 359, yeah, you will fly on even 1000 flight levels. That means 320, 340, 300, and so on. No, that normally, according to this rule, we will fly now at the moment here on an even flight level, the European version. But as you may notice, there are some exceptions. Yeah, that means there are in Italy, Switzerland, France, Spain, and Portugal. This is a little bit different if you will start from there. Yeah, that means if you will depart here in this, we will here flying from Spain. Yeah, and we're flying southwest, and so we are now there on an odd 1000 flight level because we are flying about heading 300, for example. Yeah, so 240, for example. So that means we fly on an odd 1000 flight level, which is already set here of the 2350. Yeah. So keep that in mind if you plan your next flight. Tenerife is also doing this mostly correct. Yeah. But if you wonder, or may not wonder, why you have now an odd 1000 flight level instead of an even 1000 flight level, you can take a look at this chart here. So good, we are now reaching our cruise level. Let's do the PA. Level off.
Seatbelt signs off. Gives you an opportunity to move out. Do ask while on your seat though that keep those seatbelts fastened for your safety and those values. So we get closer, we'll update weather gate information. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Yes. By the way, this is our website here, Terra-Fly, terra-fly.eu or DE, you can use both, and you will get them to our homepage. And yeah, also follow the Discord link and we'll come here to our Discord. By the way, I have also a separate Discord for the support of our checklists. there for the Boeing 737 real full flight procedures checklist for the Zibo mod, and also for the new Flight Factor A320, yeah, which I created some weeks ago. So if you have or need some support there from installation or anything else, let me know. Join this Discord and yeah, follow all these instructions and get in contact with me. Yeah, that's no problem. Good. And let's take a beer here. Good. Drink and fly. I'm so high. Good. This was a joke. We continue now, flying on our route here to Tenerife. We can talk or plan our descent. We have some time, and then we can plan our route arrival more in the charts. So let's do our sim brief. Where's in sim brief? There it is. And we are the descent winds at first. So the descent winds for this page. We'll go there to forecast, and we have a transition flight level. Let's check this. The arrival GCTS. Let's check the meter. Send, and it is 060 with 80 knots, gusting to 30 knots. Oh, that is strange. Visibility more than 10 kilometers if you're clouds 300, fly on 3000 feet above, and dew point temperature is 7 degrees, dew point 9, QNH 1021. So set this here in the background, 1021. We can set this here also, 1021. Approach button can also be pressed because we will fly an ILS approach. And yeah, let's set this QNH 1021. And we can insert the winds by level 310, 200, and 100. So 264 with 8, 195 with 4 knots, and 142 with 17. And now we'll come to the transition level. We go into our chart, and we will see we have a transition altitude of 6,000 feet. And for the level we need to add a transition altitude layer depending on the QNH, which is 1021, so we have to 1,000 feet. And our transition level is 070. Good. Execute. And that's fine. I'll check where we are, so we have much time to do. Let's set our ILS frequency, which is 10970. 10970. But this we do not do, because we will fly all that raw data arrival here with the VR, so we will change this. That's the thing. So what we can plan is the arrival speed. So let's expect what fuel we are at the arrival. We have now 6.4 units actually, or 6.3 units on board. And on our arrival we have about 2.5 tons. So that means we will want about 3.9 tons, yeah, or 3.8 tons actually, and we have to subtract it here from our actual gross weight. So we will have 66 point. Oh no, how much it was? Yes, 903.9. So man, we have 4 tons, nearly 4 tons. We will burn, which we will burn at the moment. Yes, 3.9 tons. So minus 4 tons. That we have 65. So we have 65.1 tons. Expecting 65.1 tons. So our arrival speed will be around about 148, I think. Let's take a look at the runway length, which is 3,200 meters, which is quite fine. So we have enough runway to use. Let's check this at our chart. The airport, and there it is. Yes, we can use every exit here. We will arrive from runway 07, Bravo 4, Bravo 5, so this is quite fine. Let's look at the weight, fuel and balance and performance angles calculations. So we will run on runway on 07, and winds will be 060 with 18 knots, 060 with 18 knots, and out 17. QNH 1021. So landing weight as calculated 65.1 tons, 65.1 tons. And according to the winds, it will calculate at REF plus 9. So we will do now flaps 30, and you will see we can use all that outer brakings. So we will, I think we will use outer brakes 2. So outer brakes 2 set. So we have a landing distance of 2,500 meters. Check the runway length. 3,200, 1,600, 2,000, yes, this will be fine here. So we will exit at Bravo 5, I think. Good. Set flap 30, and our wind correction. Now it will be funny. That is what I talked in the past. We will do a manual landing there, so we have approach speed that we need to add the reverb plus 50% of the heavy component, and if gas plus 10. Yeah, that means we will have actually 060 with 18 knots, and our arrival heading is 074, which is an off track about 15 degrees. So. Yeah. So 15 degrees here and 18 knots. So we have a half value calculation there of 9 knots. This is also what Zibo calculates here in the landing performance. We have plus 9. So, but you will see you have a gas here. Gas 30 knots, and when you have gas, yeah, you have to add a value of 10. So we have not 9, so we have to insert plus 19. Yeah, the maximum value is 20. Yeah, so we are near the maximum limits for our rerough calculation. So 148 with flap 30 and wind correction of plus 19. So Yeah, this is the first time you will see there how it works with guests. Yeah, so off track 15 knots, 15 degrees with 18 knots, so we have a value of 9. And we have guests there actually, so we have to add plus 10, so we have 19 in the wind correction. Yeah, so good. Let's talk about our arrival. We will fly there from Tetro or Terto, and we need to be there on flight level 100 above, that is quite fine, and there are no other restrictions at the moment. Let's check if there's something written in the airport information. So we'll check the general. Noise abatement procedures is only for the run-up test, that is also not required. Okay, normally there will come an assistance vehicle and will transport you from the runway to the gate, which is written here for the arriving aircraft. So, the next thing is general conditions arrival, taxiway procedures, aircraft vacating runway taxiing over those taxiing over taxiway Tango. So let's take a look at the charts. Taxiway Tango, yeah, that is what I thought. Yes. No changement. You can choose another on taxiway. So. Tango's normal. So general parking information stands G2, G4, G6 are equipped with a visual docking guide. This is nice to know. So we will try to reach one of these gates here. Check where are the gates. So parking stands. Oh, I think all these gates here at the front terminal are equipped with a visual docking system. Okay, use of the APU. The use of the APU is forbidden on stands G2, G4, G6. In the period between 2 minutes after blocks for arrival and 5 minutes before off blocks. So that means if we are here at the terminal gates, the APU is very loud. Yeah? And this is why there's a restriction on these gates. If you're here parking at this gate or arrive on these gates, as once as you reach the gate, you have to shut down the APU within 2 minutes. And that's a normal process here if you're following the checklist. So, if we are outside of these gates, we can use the APU, that's no problem, because we are not at the terminal itself, and that's no problem. So, okay, there's also a right-hand circuit for runway 07 if you want to on the circuit landing. And we have also birds at the airport. Noise abatement procedures. A landing and approach procedures and visual meteorological conditions shall be performed with an engine equal or higher than the ILS, GP or PAPI of each runway. So, can be higher than Jerez divides. That's fine. At nighttime, weather approaches shall avoiding overflying inhibited areas and weather approaches to runway 25 from west of Grand International or TFS war DME shall not initiate the left turn. That is important to know. From TFS 10 DME. So let's check here. Where's this shot? There. That means over the coast here. We drive for. It will drive from the other side of the runway. We are will fly the 07 arrival, so that's no problem. So we do not have to mention there for the noisy beam procedures. So runway operations. Okay, we report the aircraft controller when we vacate the runway, and we have to. You have a minimum runway occupancy time that you have to leave the runway as quick as possible for the traffic that no other pilots have to perform a go around. So try to reach the first exit as soon as possible. So normally. There's also written the exit which we have to use. Which we forced to use. So for medium jets, we will arrive at runway 07. We have to exit there on Bravo 4. And there's also written the distance available, which is 1,800 meters. Though this is fine information here. So take a look at this chart. There's arrival. And we have to exit on Bravo 4. So this is the exit we want to use, or this force use, the first exit to leave the runway as quickly as possible. Yeah. So we will check this here, and this is 1,800 meters from the threshold. So 1,800 meters. So we have to adjust our brake calculations there. We need to be there 1,800 meters, that we use outer brakes 3, so we have 1,900, and we can leave the runway with 60 knots, so that is quite fine. This is a high-speed exit, so 60 knots is still valid for the high-speed exit, so we will use here and have some additional value when we touch down, and we use outer brakes 2 instead of 3 instead of 2. Then we will exit here on Bravo 4 instead of Bravo 5. So that is written here in this chart. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Okay, there's no changes. Adjust the heading actually. So you will see. There's also some information or important information in this chart that you know where you have to exit the runway. So, in this case, Bravo 4 and 1,800 meters from the threshold. So, good. What is also written there? There's some construction workings at the moment. So you can't use the Bravo to exit or arrival, but it's not for us. So that's all for this, and we can now set everything for our star. So we will fly there from Terra, flight level 100 above, which is quite fine, and then we'll approach at Lanzarote we are. So we will fly there an inbound heading of 222 on the arrival. So this is what we set here, 222. 222. That is the inbound radial of radial 042, and outbound it will be 226 radial. So we'll set this here also on second frequency. Course 226. Just set, and we need to be tuned there at Lanzarote VOR, which is 11520 set. So also there on standby 11520. This is the first we will fly there. So from Terra inbound goes 222 radial 3042 inbound to Lanzarote VOR, and then radial 226 outbound on second autopilot be on the course with a frequency of 11520 on both frequencies. Good, and then we continue there the outbound radial, and then we will cut here the inbound radial 081 with track of 261. This will be the next one we will set them on the first and the second. Or we can continue here with 261 because it's the same. So inbound and outbound radial are the same. We will follow this track there. So the next frequency will be Gran Canaria, which is 1150. And then we will cut the inbound radial of Tenerife South, which is 11840. So that is the last frequency we will arrive there with inbound radial of 113. Yeah. Good. And we can set there also the TS and the B, which is our initial approach fix, 317. On active and standby. So. Good. Okay, let's take a look at the charts again. We'll fly there on Teatro, inbound radial 222 to Lanzarote, outbound radial 226, and then inbound radial 081 to Gran Canaria South, we are outbound 261, and then inbound radial 113 to Tenerife South, and then we will fly the holding. Yeah, and we will fly this holding manually also. Good. And once reached here, this holding, we will do our RLS approach here and bring us down to Tenerife. So that is the plan we want to do. This is quite a nice approach here when we use the raw data backup only flights without using the FMC. So let's look at there any other restrictions of the altitude. As you need me to be there on flight level 70 above, 70 above, 70 above, 70 above, also here, and the minimum holding altitude is also here, flight level 70 above. So this is the holding we will fly. Minimum flight level 70. Maximum is 230 knots for the holdings. So, okay, so no other restriction at the moment. And for the arrival, the ILS, we have 188 feet, which is set here 200, so this is fine. Next 50s. And what we will expect also, puppies on the left, puppies on the right, and high rolls, high Ls in for the lights, and missed approach altitude is 5,000 feet. So continue to that heading. Yes, climb straight ahead, 5,000 feet, turn right, max 220 knots. So we are at flight level 70 and turn holding. So missed approach is the same as arrival. So we continue high flight level of 5,000 feet and then turn right inbound to the VUR, fly the holding, and we can try a second approach. Good. Max 220 knots. Warning, positive wind shear risk, plus 15, plus 30 knots. Below 600 feet with winds exceeding 50 knots at surface northeast of direction. And that is exactly what is shown here in the meta at the moment. You will see the wind is coming there from 060 with 18 knots, yeah, and we have gusts up to 30 knots, yeah, in the airport. And that is warning here, which is also written in the chart, yeah. So beware. Good. ILS may read 0 at runway 0 threshold. That is also nice to know. Procedural restriction to max 230 knots. No obstacle free zone runway 07. Okay, that's also good. And we have an ILS glide slope of 2 degrees. And I think we will approach. What is our approach speed? We calculated 158 with 19, so we have 167 for our 157. Okay, 167, yes. So we will have about 900 feet per minute decent speed. Yep. Good, maybe the gas will change and then we can fly slower. Another thing I noticed here is we have to change this re-ref alt to 19. So now this will change and we set 1,800 feet there for the arrival chart. I thought it was 1,800 in the AirCode briefing. Where's it written? No? Arrival condition, there it is. No. General condition. Yeah, there it is. Now for 1,800 meters. So, 1,800 meters, we need minimum auto brakes 3 or maximum auto. Yes, I think auto brakes 3 is fine. So, this is quite fine. In use, maybe have to use some manual brakings there at the end. So, everything's fine. Let's take a look at our chart here and our chat also. Hello, Umur, it's back. Thank you very much for joining in. So, let's take where we are at the moment. Yes, we are over Morocco at the moment. Yeah, on the coast of Morocco. And yes, no ATC in Tenerife. Let's take if there's some ATC controller. Or someone else expecting. No, we will arrive there planned 22 to 39 UTC, and another one is there at 22:15 UTC, so we have some time to fly there. Let's take a look where we are at the moment. We just passed Ermit, and we will match now the ZimBrief fuel calculation. Yes, sure, Uma, you can ask questions. That is why the chat is active. Do that. You can also use our Discord here, which is linked in the descriptions, to follow my personal Discord for the extractor support and anything else. So there also you can ask anytime. Let's take a look at our ZimBrief. So, Ermit, where we are. Ermit, this is way point here. Winds are much more stronger than here at the moment. And what is our fuel calculation saying here? We need to have 5.2 units. And we have 5.4 on board actually, so this is quite fine, and we have enough fuel to reach our airport. So you will check this every waypoint, or nearly every waypoint, when you reach the cruise level, due to the fact that maybe if there's an issue with your gear pumps or a leak there in the tanks or in the wings, and you will use fuel, and if you check these values, you will see there's some difference, and then you have to think about to divert to another airport. So keep that in mind. So what is Ivao saying? Why is probe heat on after engine start? Yes, this probe heat here will be switched on when you will start, or the engine start before, not all the time, because this is for getting hot there. Yeah, that means if this stays on for when you will start the plane, it will getting hotter and hotter, and then it got a malfunction. So you will switch this on just before taxiing, or when you will start off the engines, so they have some air surrounding of these probes, which is here in front also. Can't show this during the night, but they're here in front outside. If you follow my other streams, when I do the the go-around procedure, or the outside exterior inspection, you will see the probes there and written on the left and on the right side. And yes, this needs to be free and clear. There's nothing blocked there inside, and that is why you switch this on only at the after the takeoff or after the engine startup, when you're taxiing. Yeah. Also, when you arrive at the airport, it's still hot at during the flight. Then it won't get freeze there in the air. Yeah. You will see outside at the moment we have a temperature. Let's take a look here on the progress page. Page 2, we have an outside static air temperature of minus 54 degrees. So this must be compromised there, that these probes are heated, that you get correct airspeed. Yeah, if that is freeze, you will switch off the probes here, then your indicated airspeed won't be shown correctly. So this must be on and working, and if not, you have a problem with your indicated airspeed. So so you will see minus 54 degrees, and this probe heaps are heated, so let's not get freezed if you're on the ground, and this is getting hot very fast. Yeah. Good. And when you arrive at the runway, or at the arrival, and as you landed and you leave the runway, you will also switch off the probe heats here. So when taxiing to the gate, there's no indicated airspeed required. You have also the GPS speed for the ground speed, and no indicated airspeed, so the probes are not needed, and they need to cool down. So switch off the probes after you leave the runway at your arrival. You will also have this in my X checklist in the full flight procedures. When you're using this, this is only a small case here. My personal X checklist I created for the points I need to have. But you see, though it looks like here, so you have a transparent window, but you can check everything else, and it will be checked if you fulfill some switch conditions automatically. This is very long. You will have the link in the download description. It's also listed in the Zibo mod for the explain 737. Yes, no problem. If you have another question, let me know. We have some time for to our arrival. So let's take a look where we are at the moment. Arrival will be about 22:58 Zulu. 1 hour and nearly 45 minutes for top of descent. So there's still some time we can use. Meanwhile, Maybe I can use this new function here. Maybe it's working or not? Unfortunately not. No vents available. Unfortunately not. Yes, my Microsoft, I changed something and the software's not working on external tablet and everything else. And yes, there was much trouble the last 2 days with Explain and this update I tried to insert for some better graphics here, and which won't work, unfortunately. My complete simulator broken 3 times. Also here this evening in the stream, I thought I have to ship that to tomorrow as yesterday, but finally I just copied the backup of an external hard drive there, and now it's working. Always have an external backup available. I say this every time. Good, take a look. Any ADC controller available? No. Are you a rewrite pilot? No, I am not. I'm doing my PBL at the moment, yeah, and yes, but I learned from real-world pilots there, which are next to me, and also have a real-world cockpit there in their home. And I went there and I created all the checklists with them together, and they trained me to fly that plane as real as possible. So I know many things of this plane. Good. Let's plan our fix this here for the arrival. As expected, we will arrive at runway 07. That is also what we write here in the descent fixed wing page, runway 07. And I will enter now the standard values for the ring 10 nautical miles. I will add this, take a look, legs page, and yeah, you will see that. I will, there's the first ring here, which is 10 nautical miles. Legs, step. Yeah, there it is. So, fixed page, that's the 10-mile ring here. You need to be there on flaps 5. Yes, thank you very much. Still working on this. So, flaps 5 is the configuration. We need to be there at the 10-mile ring, and I will also add a second one there on 4.5 DME to the threshold. This is the fixing where we need to be on your approach, full approach config. That means flaps 30 or 40 and G-down and everything prepared for the arrival. So latest there I will fly manually. So on the last one, we'll do a sump rule for your manual descent point. Actually, it's calculated here. We will follow the line. Maybe it's shown here. Yeah, there's a descent point near of LPC. And I will do a manual calculation there as a sump rule. Yeah, this is very easy. You have your actual altitude, which is flight level 350, yeah, and you divide this by 10, so we have 35, and then we'll use this 3 times. That means we have 90, 105 nautical miles. So this is 105 nautical miles are the distance we need to get down with the standard descent rate to arrive at the runway on the perfect height. Yeah. So that is the manual descent point, but you have to enter there the level of distance for when you reach flight level 100, which is also 10 additional nautical miles. So we have 105 nautical miles plus 10 nautical miles, so finally we have to add 115 nautical miles. So /115 for the distance ring, and let's take a look there. And this is our manual descent point here for the top of descent calculation. You will see that the calculated distance point in the FMC is a little bit ahead of the fixed ring, which is normal because I still entered the descent winds here in the forecast page, that we can descend as latest as possible to keep the highest flight level as much as possible to save some fuel. So if we start an earlier descent, we get down to a higher vicinity, and then yes, we will burn much more fuel than in the higher flight levels. So this is why FMC is calculating this type of descent a little bit later. But you always keep in mind that you have to fly this approach there, and sometimes these descents are very steep, and always take a look there. Is there some restrictions there? Also flown some arrivals there in the high terrains, and where we got steep approaches there, and we have descent rates of 4,000 or 5,000 feet per minute, so that's very high. The Boeing is a very good glider there, so you have to be there on full or flaps 5 and speed brakes out, or flaps 1 and 3 speed brakes out, to do a higher energy approach, and also with landing gear down, that you can speed down or hold the speed. That's very hard, so keep that in mind. Always take a look if there's some restrictions on the chart, and then you can plan this. So for my plan, I always when I reach my manual descent point, I will start my descent, my manual descent here in the FMC. So when reaching this, you will see there popping up descent now button. You can execute this, and then the plane will start descent with about 1,000 feet per minute. This is also common, and the PAX most do not notice there the first 10,000 feet that there's some changes in the altitude. If they look out of the window, then they say, "Oh, we are still descending." And mostly there will come then a message from the cockpit. They are reaching flight level 2200, that they are in the descent and they have to get prepared for the landing. So mostly the first 10,000 feet is not known. Yes, you have to go to sleep now. Good stream. Thank you much for your links. You can tune in every time again and watch the stream. And also check out my other streams there, where I do some also exterior inspections, and I mean, I use my complete checklist to see how is it working or not. Just check my stream and subscribe if you want. Also support the stream. That will be nice. So in this scene, I wish you a good night. See you next time. Respect. Bye bye. So, flight mode. Our track is still there on the white triangle, which is our track mode. and corresponding here with the winds, so we can follow our track of 220. Good. Wedo oder W dot is the next waypoint there, reaching with 4.5 tons of fuel. We will check this here in our TheEase chart again. And we need to have 4.1 tons. So we have about 400 kilos more than TheEase calculated, I think, due to the different winds here at the moment. So plus 400 kilos, quite fine, and our landing weight is still will be there, still below the maximum landing weight, which is 66.361 tons. Expected is 65.1 tons, so we have some reserve there, and bring some fuel for the airline, less payment. Good. Let's check if there are some changes in the meter. No, nothing changed at the moment. Good. I will take a next drink there. Let's jump to the back seat. I will get a short drink. We'll be back in 5 minutes. I will show you here the chart, and then I will see you again in a few minutes. So you will hear some music, so stay tuned, and we'll be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the stream. Flying from Jerez de la Frontera, the south coast of Spain, flying Morocco, and down there to Tenerife, which is our rival. And yeah, this is the flight we are doing. Let's jump into the cockpit. Thank you very much. Thank you for the drink. And let's take a look how far we are away from our tower of descent. So, also this Terra-Fly livery is available in the download description. Yeah, you can download this here also on all my mods I use and everything else you want to know, and my checklist. So, good. We're here back in the cockpit. Just past Weeded, as expected, with 4.1 tons of fuel. And then that's left. Let's take a look how the fuel burn calculation there at Weeded. 4.1 units required. We have 4.1 on board, and we check the use. So we have used 4.08 tons. Yeah. And we are 120 kilos below the calculated fuel burn. So, quite fine. Good. Top of descent. We are... Our top of descent will be away 216 nautical miles, so in nearly 30 minutes we will reach our top of descent. We will start our descent a little bit earlier here when we reach our manual descent point, which we calculated with a thumb rule of 3 times your actual altitude with 10 nautical miles there, which is 150 nautical miles away from the runway threshold. So then we will start the manual descent with about 1000 feet per minute, and we will start to continue. Oh, we are here now at Terdo. Still, are we still arriving there at Terdo? Because we said, yes, we are inbound Terdo. Awesome. Yes, we will start using, or we will do fly the star here without using the FFC, just flying with rudder navigation. So that is what we will do here. So we need to tune in radial 222 course inbound of the inbound radial 024 of Lanzarote VOR, which is already set here, and then we fly outbound radial 226 of the Lanzarote, and the VOR frequency is 10520 on both frequencies, and then we go ahead to cross the inbound radial 081 of Gran Canaria South, which is also tuned here with 10500, and then outbound, and then we will fly there inbound of Tenerife South 11640. So this will be the complete track we will fly there. Let's take a look at the needles. Yes, Lanzarote VOR is still recognized. So let's do this. Switch to Warlock. And the plane is now following the needles. The needles of the needles. There. There it's coming. Jump through to our fuel burn calculation to get our landing weight and speeds. So wind is unchanged. We have 060 with 18 knots gusting to 30 knots, which means we have to be prepared for the landing speeds. Where's my wind chart here as expected? So we have 074 as arrival runway heading, so we have about 15 degrees off track with 80 knots, though that means +9 for the rev and component, and gusting 30 knots, so we have to add 10, so we have +19 in the wind correction. Yeah, +9 is also calculated here with performance tool of Zibo, and I changed this to 19. So change our, or take a look at our fuel calculations. So we burn 500, so 1.5 tons of extra fuel from now. Yes, 1.5 tons. So we will subtract this, but this will be 65.5 tons at the arrival. 65.5. So we have calculated there are 65.1, so we'll change this, 65.5. 65.5 tons. And wind is still 060 with 18 knots with flaps 13. And we want to exit there at 1,800 meters from our arrival Bravo 4 here, which is written in this chart. General conditions arrival, so we have to follow the minimize the runway occupancy time. We have to leave there with the minimum jets at Bravo 4, 1,800 meters after the threshold, which is here, Bravo 4. So we arrived there at 07, and we will leave there Bravo 4, 1,800 meters, and we use auto brakes 3 at the moment, and I think we need some manual braking at the end, so we can leave the high speed exit there with 60 knot, which is quite fine. So 60 knot is still valid value, the maximum value for. So good. We are now on this chart. Following the road, you are the inbounds of 222. So yes, auto brakes 3 is set. Landing flaps 30 with wind correction of +19 also. So arrival speed will be 167 knots. Descent viewer checklist. Preservation landing altitude 200 feet is already set there. Recall checked. There's no problems at the moment. Auto brakes are 3 as calculated with manual braking at the end. Landing rate will be flaps 30, 167 knots, 148 with +19 wind correction. Approach briefing is completed. So descent checklist is completed. That is the thing. We are at the star at the moment. Good. We will fly this manually by raw data navigation as we planned. We are on the way inbound to Lanzarote. We are following the Warlock. So next, once we pass this, we will fly course 226 outbound till we reach the radial 068 inbound of Gran Canaria south. So I have to switch then the next thing is I will do, once we get here nearest to the Lanzarote, I will switch to command B. That means command Bravo, the second autopilot is active with the second course of radial 226, so it will now following the outbound course of radial 226. And then I will change the viewer frequency of the first autopilot A there to the next frequency, which is Gran Canaria South, which is 1150, which is already tuned here. Gran Canaria South LPC viewer. So this will be active then. and I will change that radial there to 261, or the course to 261, which is the radial 0681 inbound track. Yes, we will follow this then. These are the next steps. So, that's all no problem. We have to do, well, we will do then a manual holding there as we've flown the complete star throw data back up, and then we'll fly the manual holding there, and if we are higher than 7,000 feet, it's the problem, so we will descend there manually once we pass this, and then we will try the approach. So hello, welcome, who's joined the channel? Hello, hello?
Hi Marvin, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Thorsten. How are you?
Fine, fine, thanks.
That is very good. What are you doing?
I fly to, oh god, what is the name? Palermo.
Palermo. For the stream followers, this is one of my virtual allied pilots here, and they can come here through our stream, and that's no problem when we fly together. Also, if you want to join, do this, and we fly together as all we do together. Good. We are flying the... we are doing a manual raw data navigation on the star, flying to Tenerife, so we will do this complete manually today. For the new streamers, thank you very much for joining this stream. Good. Lanzarote views are 20 nautical miles ahead. QNH is 1021 set here. Let's check on standby also. Good. If there's any ATC control at the moment. Let me look here. No. Quite fine. And we are approaching the islands. And there's our landing airport. So, Tenerife is coming. So, where's our manual descent point here? A little bit far ahead. Good. 13 DME. And then I will switch to Command B for following the 226 outbound radial of Lanzarote. So, I will switch now to altitude hold, because we say we will fly manually all that descent without using the FMC. Some winds? No. Good. 8 DME. I will switch now the needles for the outbound track. So we are still following the inbound radial. So 6 DME, below 5 DME it will be shown, because the DME is also available in the height. So you will see there there's nothing changes at the moment, so I will now switch to Command B. And hopefully we will intercept the radial 226 once we pass the 60 me after. Yes, the needle switching. Now we'll fly outbound. And you will see now the plane is turning. Following the 226 radials here at the moment. Once we pass the middle, it will level off. Good. Perfect. So the next thing is we have to tune in there the LPC Gran Canaria South VUR. So 11500, which is now active, and we will set then the inbound track course of 261. Which is radial 081 inbound. So 261 course. Switch to speed nav. Yes, that's better to see. Good. We'll switch now here to map mode that we can see our manual top of descent calculation. Where we start our descent. You will see there's some difference. That is due to the winds. Then we will find the outbound course here. Good. So we were approaching Betan. Progress. Fuel will be 3.5 tons there at Betan. Oh, I expected 3.5 tons. And what is saying our arrival chart of our sim brief? Betan. Betan, yes, 3.2, and we have 3.5, so we are 300 kilo off. That's quite fine. So we can change the lightning to takeoff and landing. So you will see the second VOR here, which is 100 TME above ahead, and we passed Lanzarote 30 nautical miles. So We will fly there Betan and then Canis, or on the outbound track of 226 radial, and then we turn right for the inbound track to Gran Canaria South. This will be a fun approach today. Oh, what is an airport is it here? That's Fuerteventura. Wow, Fuerteventura direct below us. Is there anyone? No. No one's departing or landing. Very good. So, we will start descending with 1,500 feet per minute at our manual descent calculation point. And we will see how good our calculation works when we are approaching the runway. Thorsten, how long is your flight today? Or how long?
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours, so as mine here.
And very big problem with the Ivao TeamSpeak.
Oh,
So yeah.
it's not working or what?
No connection to Palermo tower and ground.
Try to connect via the plugin itself, not
Yes.
by changing the frequency with the plugin. Just switch the frequency and then mostly works.
Oh, okay.
You can select that in the plugin. You see that VHF1?
Yes.
Select that and it will connect via TeamSpeak. If there are some problems with when you dial in the frequency on the nav screen with the radials.
Oh, good to know.
So,
How many people here on the stream?
I do not see at the moment. Due to the fact that it's a brand new channel or streaming community here for me, I think there's not so much people watching.
Yeah.
It will growing from time to time.
Now, two guests. Yeah.
So, Betan, that's the next island here. Good. So we'll do now our PA system.
Should make a VOR approach.
Not only a VOR approach, I will fly the complete star with route order backup navigation from VOR to VOR, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 VORs until our final initial approach fix, and then we will fly a manual holding and also a manual landing there on the ILS glide path.
Okay.
So today's flight is without any FNC usage for the departure and for the arrival.
Okay.
Some training for me and also for the streamers, for the viewers. Good. So let's switch.
With the master flight.
So we'll switch now the second needle, the mode here, also to the VOR mode, so that we can see the needle when it is coming. Yeah. because we are now 16 nautical miles ahead. And we are reaching now top of descent, or calculated top of descent point. So I will switch now to vertical speed mode. Yes, auto still online, please. Oh, I have to dial in another altitude. That's correct. So we have to be there above 7,000 feet, and then I can select our vertical speeds of minus 1,500 feet per minute. That is what we aim for. So switch on the faster belts. So the next steps, we will cross there the inbound radial 081 to Gran Canaria South, the inbound radial, with a frequency of 11500, which is tuned there on command A, yeah, which we will change within a few seconds. Once we will see the needle is coming to the middle, and yeah, then we fly the inbound and outbound course of 261, and we can set now the Tenerife South, the we are on the second frequency, which is 11640, which we'll set now. So we have that this. Oh, we have to.
Nice! You have the new display in the radio.
What do you mean?
You have the new display in the video, and the radio screen is very new.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay.
Ah, you mean the display is also here? Yes, this is the visual mod here, which is also linked in the description. This is also for the overhead and so on. Just maybe look here if you see the overhead. All the lights are changed. That is very nice.
Yes, I can see here. It's very nice.
I'll switch on this mode to on. You will see that here. Yeah, that's looking absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful mode. So switch off the dome light. So needle's coming. Slightly. We are still following the track. Let's check our latest meter. So it's still 060 with 18 and guesting to 30 knots. QNH 1021. We can set now this mode to the local QNH due to the fact that there's no ADC control available and we are cleared to flight level 070, so that's fine. So switch this here to 1021. Passing flight level 300, so switch the bank mode. So needle's coming. And switch now to command A. Ah. Yes, now it's working. Now we will fly the inbound track to LPC Viva. Adjust the heading mode. And the next frequency here is 11640, which is now tuned, which is Tenerife South. And we will fly there the radial 113 inbound. This is the track mode of 293 in the course. We will set now. This is the next radial we will intercept after we're passing the VR. So 293 inbound radial to Tenerife South. and we will see the needles there. So, good. I will take a look at our map mode. We are still descending and behind the top of the descent point of the calculated FMC1. So once we pass this, I think the glide bus will follow us and catch us slightly. We need to be above 7,000 feet there in Tenerife South. So what is the next planning there? We need to join in or to dial in the radial of Tenerife South, which we had here on the second VOR when we fly here inbound, because then we will do the manual holding there. So the manual holding, so we will fly there teardrop entry. That means once we pass there the VOR, we will fly there 45 degrees to the left, following 30 seconds once leveled off, and then we will turn right and following the inbound track of 074 of Tenerife South, yeah, and then we will fly a holding there, following the racetrack. So, where's the racetrack? Let me look here. There's the racetrack. So, there's the racetrack we will follow. Manually. Good. There's the island. Still no controller, that is fine. Let's check there's anyone departing or arrival. No, everything is clear at the airport, which is fine. So, back to our approach chart. I need to dial in 11640. Oh no, I will still use this course here. 074 inbound. Okay, good. Then let's dial in our ILS frequency, which is here 10970, and our minimums we will set also. Reset. Take an eye on the needle, still outside, so everything is fine. So our missed approach climb gradient, this is 2.5 degrees normally. So we will have we can also do 3 degrees of missed approach climb gradient. So normally we'll do 2.5% missed approach altitude. So we have a decision altitude of 459 feet. So dial in this. .459. And just expect what we see here. Puppies on the left, puppies on the right, and high hulls, a lightning system there on the runways, and the missed approach altitude is 5,000 feet, so that we have to climb there on the track 074 and then turn right 5,000 feet, climbing direct to Tenerife South VOR, and then I think we'll get back to the racetrack. Yes, ILS glide slope is 3 degrees. Our approach speeds will be 167, very high due to the fact that we have gusts of 30 knots. So our calculation there is +9 for the re-ref and +10 knots for our guesting winds. So, which is already set. Good. Perfect. So we'll say prepare for landing. So now you will see the VUR of Gran Canaria is coming. We are 5 nautical miles ahead, so it will now switch the needles. We will still follow the track 261 course there for the outbound track, so we can still leave this. And then the next thing is will the needles from the right side. So by the way, we will see that we are reaching our point Meran there, or just behind that flight level 70. So we are fine for the minimum holding altitude of flight level 70 for the manual holding. Good. There is the island of Tenerife. And you will see now the value of DME is growing, so the needles changed and we are now outbound. And the next thing is that this needle will come closer, and then we will switch to Command B again to follow the 293 radial course inbound radial 113 to Tenerife South. Yes, and once we pass this, let me turn left on heading mode to get the teardrop entry, and I will switch then the course track to 074 to fly the manual inbound track here for the holding. Good. And we use the chrono to fly that holding. Good, now you see that the needles will come closer. So, what you can do now is select the track that is following, and now switch to heading select and Command B. And set the warlock again, and then it's intercepting the radial. So just doing the slight turn. Now it's banking. So, Meran is the next waypoint. We can let this here also to see where we are. We are below our expected or calculated FMC value. We need to be above flight level 070. This is also fine. So now we are on the inbound track there to Tenerife South. And the next thing is then we will tune 116 40 to the track, and we will set then 073 or 4, which is the inbound course then for our holding. Yeah. So Tenerife South is now set, and also the ILS frequency of 11970. Yeah. So we have a descent of glide slope of t degrees, so we can set this there also manually, or fly this manually, controlling the altitudes like in VR approach or an NDB approach. Very good. So there's the next funny part then. So we need to slow down. I will switch now to
1,000 to go.
10,000 feet that we will level off and slow down slowly. We have time. Good. It's still slowing down. So we switch on now the landing lights and the rapid turn-off lights, and also the local lights. And fasten belts are set. Also see the cabin crew. And we can continue to Tenerife South. We are, and we fly the holding there. So we will fly there at teardrop entry. That means we will fly there 45 degrees to the left there. So the outbound track for this is, let me look here. So we have 47 plus 180. We have now outbound of 254. This is also shown here, and we need to subtract 45 for the left turn. So we have a track there of 209er, 209er for the heading. Yes. And let's check. So, Tenerife South is 30 nautical miles ahead. We can now set the altitude of 7,000 feet, and we will still descend of 1,000 feet per minute. Wow, 850, which is a normal descent rate at about 3 degrees. So let's check where we are. Yes, we will reach it still before we pass the VR, so everything's fine. Good. You see now our planned descent path is catching us slightly, which is at the moment 6,000 feet ahead, above us. And we will switch now back to the needles. This is much more fun. Good. As said, we're flying the 293 course or 113 inbound radial to Tenerife South, and once past you will see switching the needles. We will switch then to heading select mode and following the 45 degrees of track there of for the teardrop entry of the holding, yeah, and following this for 30 seconds once we leveled off the wings, and then turn right to follow the inbound course of 074, which is already tuned here, and now also here for the VUR 11614, as we will do the inbound course for the holding. Yeah. The standby ADF is also tuned. We can switch it here and here, that we have this in front of us. So let's switch to this chart here now. We can remove this, and this also, which is not needed anymore. The gates we will still need. The run, this is what we need. This is not needed, and this is what we need now. So this is approach chart. So as said, minus approach altitude is 5,000 feet after passing the VOR. Then right turn inbound to Tenerife South VOR. That is fine. 3 degrees of slope there at the end. Max to 30 for our racetrack here. We are still at 210, so that's fine. That is what we are doing, and we are approaching TFS. We are at 16.5 DME. So we are ready to fly that holding manually as the whole approach. So now other Q is set here. We are reaching 7,000 feet. And alt hold is now on. There's our airport. And we will stay there on the minimum holding altitude of 7,000 feet. We will do now the teardrop entry and then flying a holding there. And then we'll descend and enter the ILS, flying this manually here. Are there some whole heights written? Yes. Yes, there's a localizer. So we will fly there, the localizer DME. At 4 DME 153, and yes, these are the heights we will try to reach. So we need to be there at 2,100 at distance 5.8. and 2,600 on 10 DME. So this is what we want to reach there when we reach this point. So 4,700, this will be a short turn and a steep descent from about 2,000 feet here during this turn. So we have to be in the configuration there, flaps 15 G down maybe. Yes, we can do this just before. A little slow down and then we fly this. So do an early configuration. When we are flying this approach manually, you can look at the charts. So, let's check the latest meter. There are some changes. No, still unchanged. And the guests are still valid, so... We will run now 300 kilos roundabout, so 65.4 tons. I think there won't be any changes. Yes, 138, 149, so 167 there for the approach speed with flaps 30. Good, 4-point DME. Watch the needles coming, and then we will switch now to heading select mode. And we will start the timer. It will be funny. So. To DME. Wait for the passing needles. Now it's, you see that needles, and then we will switch now to heading select. Now we will do the left turn. And we will configure now the second course again. 074. I will still need this here. I will set the ILS frequency. And we are still on command B. So, once we are leveled off, we will do the teardrop entry. So, ready, start the timer, the chrono, 30 seconds. We have some wind from behind. Actually, 21 degrees, 21 knots of tailwind. So now we do the right turn of 389, which is 29 degrees. Okay, we need to switch the bank mode a little bit more. We will follow the needles. Okay, we need to be there on 7,000 feet again. You will see that we have to descend then from flight level 70 to 470 here once we pass the 3OR. So okay, I missed that inbound track there, but we're still following. Now it's now coming to TFS VOR. So what we are doing now is we will select flaps 1 and select flaps 1 speed. The next altitude we will receive there is 4,700 feet. So, adjust the heading. And I set the outbound track as 245.
Is this not a little bit too high?
No, that's the minimum holding altitude of this track here. 7,000 feet. Yeah, you see that we are flight level 70.
Oh, so you make
Yes.
the...
I will do the racetrack pattern here.
Oh, so okay.
Yes. By a
see-
manual
I-
holding.
I think you will landing and... No.
this will be a steep approach. No, I will do the holdings. So, by the way, ILS is coming. Well, that's not true. So, okay, we're following on the right. 1 DME. So, needle switching. We will do now switch back to heading select. We'll fly the right turn. That's a chrono. And we need to be there at 10 dmi of Terra of TFS South. So that is what we have to look here. We can also set now the ILS or the VOR course of Tenerife South here, which is written as 073, but we will still leave the VOR active, so we will do the VOR approach. So chrono's not needed at the moment. So, and we have to descend then to 4,700 feet, so switch then to 1,000 feet per minute. Let's take a look where we are. Yes, a little bit behind, so I have to raise this 1,000. Yes, then we are on flight level 70, which is quite fine. And so I will select now flaps 5 and flaps 5 speed. Because we have a steep bank turning here and descending to 2,600. And this will be much more. We will do this with level change. And then to 2,100. So 2,100 is the next height we will go then. To 6 from the course here. So check the distance.
$1,000 to go.
So approach speed was 167, remember? So we are less there. We can now select this also 167. Let's pull out gear down flaps 15. We'll do this in an earlier configuration. Now select 2600 for the next height. We'll do this with level change and set our landing flaps 30. So select the bank. So 167, we are back with gear down flaps 15. We are doing the approach checklist. Engine start switches to continuous and speed brakes armed. Gear down 3 green and landing checklist is completed. Let's do a recall check. Very good. So the next thing is 2600 here. Quite fine. Now we will select the next height. So we'll follow now the needles. This is the reason why we have to stay above 2600. You can also turn in the terrain radar because there's no visible clouds or thunderstorms at the moment. So, switch back then. We'll stay on this heading track and select back the warlock mode. Hello George, FS Videos, welcome to the stream. So now it's banking in. And we passed 10 DME, so we go now there and descending to 2100. I can do this with a manual descent right here, 800 feet per minute. As you see, we are on 167, so we are around about I think 900 feet per minute. What we will aim there. So next height is 4.3 DME. You can also select now the ILS mode that you can see the glide slope. We are still following Command B there. So we are 2100 and we are following the approach. Select the track mode. So what we can tune in then is the next vertical speed, as I said, around about 900 feet per minute. That is what we will expect here with our landing weight. And due to the gas, let's check out the latest meter if there are some changes. No, it's still guessing, so we keep this plus 19 as wind correction. as calculated in our wind correction chart, which is available here in the description. So our wind rev calculation value is +9, and due to the gas we have +10 again. You will see that gusting winds here. So there's ETS DME, that is what we are following here. At 4 DME we need to be there at 1,500 feet. Glide slope is coming now, slightly. So, perfect. We are ready to go. And we will start our vertical speed mode now. So, we are ready to go. Let's land this baby. We are doing the approach. We need to be there at 4 DME at 1,500. But as you can see, we can switch to manual mode now. Complete. So, adjust the thrust, switch off the autopilot and the auto throttle. Oh, you see the gusty wind here. Range. Keep that in mind, and be aware that you have to check your airspeeds very, very often due to the gusting winds. Wow. Okay, we are still too low at the moment.
Slow. 1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude.
Yes,
7.
I see that. Who told me that? So, I will look at the puppies and trim something here. So, a little bit wind from the left. And I will follow the puppies. I need to be a little bit more thrust. Okay, now we are back on profile, to red, to white. Perfect. Descent rate around about 807, so from 700 till 900 feet per minute. 169, now it's gusting wind from behind. Okay. 149 was the approach speed there for re-ref. We need to be there at 50 knots. 15 feet above the threshold. We are too high. Less thrust.
300 minimums.
Okay, continue.
200.
And landing. So back.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
So. Reversers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tenerife. As expected, we will do some manual braking there to leave the high speed, the high speed exit there at around about 60 knots. And we can now select flaps up. Disconnect the flight directors, set 100 speeds. Yes, speed brakes disarmed. Switch off the probes and run the APU. Strobe lights to off and Terra also to off. Yes, perfect. And missed approach altitude was 5,000 feet, so 5,100. We'll do the left turn. Switch off the landing lights. And we can set the cabin lighting in there to medium and bright. Thank you very much for flying with Terra-Fly.
Great.
Awesome, that was awesome today. So, the complete star, inclusive manual holding and VR approach by hand. Without the FMC. So, APU again is coming up, so we can switch off now engine number 2 to save some fuel there for the airline. Let's take a look where we are. So, we said we want to reach the terminal there. Is there any entry? So, no, we can do this every time. So, let's turn around here. Engine start resist to auto. Can switch off the wing lights. This was only for the replay for you. So, terrain radar we can switch also off. Max wingspan is 52 meters, that is fine. We are 39. So, a little bit more thrust. Yeah, one engine. And we can read that the rates, switch the war modes here to off. And let us search a good parking position. Fine. We can now select the cabin lighting to bright. Tenerife. There we are. So there's a free space here. So we will use Echo. No, that is Foxtrot 3. Foxtrot 3. Yes, fine. Oh no, the next one. There's a gate here. Oh, here also. Yes, we will use the next one. So Foxtrot 4 is the next. Okay. We can drive in. Switch the runway and taxi lights to off, that we do not blend anyone. And you will see now taxiing with one engine is very easy and good. And then we'll follow the next alignment there. We need to be a little bit further. And a little bit more. Stop. So set the parking brake. Shut down engine number 1. And switch the squawk to 200. Then the ATC knows that you are on the gate. And electric pumps, which are allowed to be switched off. Isolation valve open, APU blot, and anti-collision light to off. So we can release the crew. The packs. Open the doors. Yes. And the gates are open. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tenerife. Perfect. What a good flight. Awesome. Good. that is the thing we are doing at the moment. So let's close our FS Airline in the background. Oh, deliver all packages. This is included in the FS Airlines client now. Perfect. Next. Next. Exit. So, let's do this. We will terminate the flight leg and set the fuel weight and balance to payload of 0. Yes. Very good. That was all for this. We will do now the last check, so we can switch off the window heats. You will see also we will try to reach a cabin temperature of 28 degrees, which is very good for the packs that will get a little bit sleepy. So a good configuration I found, so that is perfect. Good.
Your larger carry-on luggage in the overhead bin.
Legs
Thank
packs
you, Marvin,
off.
for your stream.
Yes, also.
Suggest stowing your rollerboards on this aircraft with the handle in first, wheels out.
And
Let us know if you need any help.
let's do the replays.
Entertainment, one of United's private screening options.
Yes, that is also to off here. GPS also off.
You may use your small lightweight devices such as
And
mobile
we are
phones,
ready to go.
Well-
Close the doors.
At that time, they must be stowed either under the seat in front of you or in an overhead compartment.
And let's do the replay.
Seated in an exit
All doors are
row,
closed.
please review the exit row
Disconnect
responsibilities
from
on the safety card.
Ivao.
Flight attendant will be coming through shortly to ensure you're comfortable with these responsibilities. Flight attendant.
Yes,
please
perfect.
exit.
And we will start the replay. So, right, play.
2500.
So, we are done.
2500.
Oh, that was too much.
2500.
So, we're okay. There's the airport, and there we are coming. There we are. So, very good. Center lined. Yes. At the end, a little bit of touch on. So, good. I'll do an outside view there. What is the red light here inside the cockpit? No. It's from the airport. Okay, there we are coming into that runway. There's a flare. It was high-speed approach with 169 knots with the guests. So, very fine and safe landing. So, let's do the last replay there. And I wish you all a good night. Thanks for tuning in here into the stream. I'm Benkheisen, the X checklist creator for the full flight procedure checklist for the Zibo 737. So next time we will do our next flight, and I thank you very much for tuning in with this flight. This was very fun, and see you next time. Subscribe to this channel, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you, Marvin. Bye bye. no, no, no.